Did you know statistically those who enjoy dark humor tend to have a higher IQ level, they're more resistant to negative emotions, and they tend to be less aggressive? Who knew? If you like dark comedies, I definitely have a recommendation for you.
You do like me.
I don't.
You liked me yesterday.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Watch by Ashley, where we take a look at some of the new releases on the big streaming platforms and discuss whether or not they're worth the watch. Today, of course, we're going to be taking a look at The Banshees of Inisherin. This can be found on Disney Plus, and I think it's going to be a major contender for the award season. It's already nominated for Golden Globes in the category of Best Picture. This film was written, directed, and produced by Martin McDonagh, and you might be familiar with his work as he has another critically acclaimed film under his belt. A couple years ago, you might remember the release of 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. That was him. I have to tell you, this is a masterclass in subtlety. If you want to detox from those big budget superhero movies, and you should definitely check this out. He has once again collaborated with Colin Farrell and Gleeson for this film. They've done a couple of films together previously, so it's nice to have them reunited. The basic premise of the script here is that two lifelong friends have had a terrible falling out of nowhere. Colin, who's played by Gleeson, he just decides one day that he doesn't want to be friends with Podrick anymore. And Podrick is, of course, played by Colin Farrell. This is like a head scratcher because they live on a very small Irish island where everyone knows each other. Like, you grow up with the same people and you die with the same people. And so everyone is used to them being glued to the hip, even though they're an odd pair. And just one day, Colin decides, like, I'm done being friends with Podrick. He's too dull for me, and I don't want to spend any time with him, and that's that. But Podrick is just so, again, he's so dense and so dull in a sense that he just can't fathom why his friend is just suddenly turning his back on him. Regardless of the reason that he's given, he just feels like it's impossible, like it can't be serious. So he keeps pushing and pushing and pushing the friend to try and rekindle their friendship.
You didn't do anything to me.
Well, that's what I was thinking, like.
I just don't like you no more.
There are definitely consequences to that pushing and prodding, to the point where Colin threatens Podrick and he says to him, if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to start cutting off my fingers, because every time you talk to me, I'm just going to cut off a finger till you get the point that I want you to leave me alone.
Each time you bother me from this day on, I'll take those shears and I'll take one of my fingers off with them and I'll give that finger to you.
Which of course seems very drastic, and that's kind of where the comedy part, I guess, comes into this, especially because with these chopped off fingers it results in a death. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I thought that it was like very creative and interesting in the way that it explores serious matters. Like, mental health is definitely an issue that's discussed here. The backdrop of this film is that it's during the Irish Civil War in the 1920s, and so there's a lot of tension that's already there on the island, and then the fact that you have these two lifelong friends with the falling out, it becomes the big gossip of the town. And it just goes to show also, with a small town, how it can really be very vicious and damaging to some people if you're an outlier, you don't fit in. I thought that they did a really great job exploring those kind of relationships. Like, you have the police officer who knows everybody in town and gives preferential treatment to those who are on his good side. If you're on his bad side, you're a target for him, and he can abuse you as much as he wants because he's the police. Or if you go to the general store, the storekeep is a big gossiper. She'll even open your mail when it comes in. Like, just these characters, I thought that it was really great in the way that McDonagh built his world, because it just felt really relatable. Another relatability factor is you outgrow some of your friends and your relationships, and you just decide that it doesn't work for you anymore. And then the twist that they're like in their 40s or 50s and they just don't want to be friends anymore, and they're just in shock. I think everyone's gone through their lives where they outgrow somebody, and just that awkward transition of either telling them directly that you don't want to see them anymore, or slowly weaning them off and not spending time with them, is something that I think everyone has gone through in their life at one point or another. And he is very direct in the fact that he just feels like he's outgrown Podrick. I like the way that they illustrated that struggle, because Podrick just could not wrap his head around it. Like, it was almost like an obsessive relationship. He just refused to accept the rejection. And he not only got his sister involved, he got the priest involved, like, he has his bartender friend involved. Like, everyone's trying to pressure Colin into taking him back. That forcefulness, that pressure, that confinement in the community, I think is what led Colin to actually threaten the self-harm. And then he had to follow through with it because he was making a point. And also, Podrick asked him, are you okay? Are you depressed? Like, why are you mutilating yourself? Like, why are you damaging yourself? And he keeps saying he's not depressed. I personally think that when you're in such a stressful situation, like they had the Civil War going on, and he's facing his own mortality because he feels like he wants to do something that he'll be remembered by. He just wanted to feel some kind of control in his life again. And the fact that Patrick kept forcing himself onto him, like in terms of a friendship, and he had all the whispering of the people in town, I think that maiming himself is just his way to regain control. That is a great discussion piece while delivering it in a comedic way. It's a dark comedy, so it's not to say you're rolling on the floor laughing throughout it. It's just very ironic and subtle in the way that it delivers its points, so I thought that was really great. Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson definitely give great performances. I love it when actors who are big in Hollywood, they end up going to do films that are kind of closer to their roots and closer to their origins. Like, I love the fact that the top 4 actors were all Irish and they can speak their native tongue. I know they speak English, but just speaking with their accents and being themselves, I like that. It's almost like a glimpse into their true selves. So that's something I really enjoyed. I think that McDonagh did a great job in casting. We're just getting a glimpse in terms of the small community and how that could be. It was really immersive. It was really believable. I do think like that subtlety, that less is more approach here is definitely going to be what really helps this film do well in award season. I know it's currently nominated for Golden Globe, so we'll see how that goes. If I was to rate this film, I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10. It is definitely worth the praise that it's getting. It has a lot of recognition going into the award season. There's definitely some stiff competition for the Golden Globes for the Best Picture so far. I would not be surprised if this ends up being nominated for the Oscars because I think that it does have that traction, especially when you take a look at the director's track record and you have Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson as the stars here. So I think with that in consideration, it will do well. Do I think it's the Best Picture of the year based on the competition that's out so far? No, I don't think so. I do think Triangle of Sadness is better. So I am a bit biased in that sense. But I do think this is a solid film. Those are my thoughts in regards to the film. Please let me know in the comments if you've seen the film. Do you think it really is a contender for Picture of the Year? If you enjoyed the content here, please give me a like and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.